Hark the bardic paladin, who sings and plays again. He tells the tales of glory and weaves a magic story. He'll join you at your table and ask you to share a fable. Heroes of humble origin, villains who must be fought again. No matter their skill or prowess, the people in life are countless. So we pray you heed our request. Enjoy this tale of sidekicks and side quests.
Episode 164, Nora Swift, the Goliath Alchemist. Welcome to Sidekicks and Side Quests, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast that helps to put humans back into humanity and breathe life into your campaign NPCs with backstory and bravado. That's right, we're building a world, one character at a time. I am your host, Kurt Krenwelge, the Bardic Paladin, and I'll be joining Erin Whitford's table in the Levitating Platter. Hello and welcome to another exciting month's episode of Sidekicks and Side Quests, the best unofficial Dungeons & Dragons podcast, in my humbly biased opinion. I've got an awesome guest for you this month, but before we get to my mystery contestant, you know I gotta do it. I gotta leave you in suspense with the ad read. This podcast is brought to you by Plus One EXP and their brand new RPG Zine Club. It's a golden age of indie and small press RPGs. For the last several years, Plus One has made it our mission to help new indie creators and small press imprints get their products onto tables worldwide. Our highest goal is to create more sustainable and equitable pathways to getting games made and played. Now we want to take on our most ambitious project yet with RPG Zine Club. What is RPG Zine Club? It is a monthly membership subscription service featuring fresh zines from emerging and expanding creators across the globe. It's our way of inviting GMs, players, and zine lovers everywhere to invest more intentionally in the creative community. It's crowdsourced support without crowdfunding. Now, what are some of the features you have to look forward to when you join the RPG Zine Club? Well, you've got monthly releases with 2 20 to 44 page saddle stitch zines. Take your pick from story zines, adventure zines, or get both kinds. You can get print and digital or digital only of your favorite titles. Join the Clubhouse Discord. It's a section of our online community for club members to discuss and play new titles. Get the best prices guaranteed. You can select your frequency of how often you'd like titles, and you can get what you want and only get what you want. If you miss a month, there's no worries there. You can add recent titles to your month's order and get an annual surprise each February after your first anniversary. Get access to special content, including interviews, how to play videos, and special content for Zine Club titles. Do you like free pizza? Fill out one of the RPG Zine Club passports and redeem it for free pizza at events. You're going to get to encounter new and known designers. We source the best voices from across the RPG design community. We curate zines based on community interest and feedback to help you discover your new favorite creators. We are DIE focused. Plus One is committed to champion diversity, inclusion, and equity in our projects. Creators with diverse experiences make our community better. Zine Club prioritizes creating equity for all of our creators. And it's more than a purchase. Your subscriptions will let us invest more heavily in our print partners and provide them with potentially life-changing support by consolidating scores or hundreds of purchases as the club grows. So, if you want more details, please be sure to go to the website rpgzine.club, and this all can be found also by going to the website plus1exp.com. On that website, if you're making a purchase for a beard balm, a lip balm, beard RPG, or whatnot, and you're looking for a code to use at checkout, be sure to use the code Randolph, RANDOLPH, and save some coin on your purchase. Again, the website to get the discounts from me and provide a kickback to me to help support the podcast would be plus1exp.com with code Randolph. And be sure to go and check out the brand new rpgzine.club. All right. And I'm very excited to introduce the guest that we have waiting for you in the metaphorical wings. But I'll go ahead and turn it over now, and I'll say, hello, mystery contestant. Would you care to introduce yourself? Tell us who it is that you are and what is it that you do?
Yeah, hi. So I am mystery contestant Erin Whitford. I am a author and English professor and mom and all of those things. But yeah, I have an upcoming debut dystopian sci-fi novel that's part of a series that's releasing this year. So pretty excited about that.
It's so wild to see this. When we first met or were introduced, we are mutual friends because your at the time boyfriend, who's now your husband,
Huh?
was best friends with my roommate at our college. And so
Yeah.
that's how we were normally sort of hanging out. And I would
Yes.
say we were good friends. I don't think we were ever like super buddy buddy, but we kept in touch, the Facebook, the whole thing. And then I pull up social media the other day and I knew that you'd become like an English professor. And then
Mhm.
just out of the blue, it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I have a debut novel coming out. So, what was that whole process like of going from like, oh, just being in college and finding out my journey? And now I'm a professor and I'm writing novels.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. It's like, and a quick summary of the last, like 18 years. But yeah, so we were buddies like back in college, and we actually, my husband Brandon and I still have like pictures of all of us from,
Ooh,
I know, yeah. So way back when. And yeah, I think it's so cool. Like one of the good things about social media and the internet is like, you can just stay in touch with people and stay connected in their lives. So I think that's super cool. And yeah, so I don't know. I always joke that I was pretty much only like decently good at one thing, and that was English. Just kind of stuck in that realm. And yeah, so I've been teaching English at the local college here for like 15 years, which is crazy.
wow.
Yeah, a long time. Once again, I like found the one thing I was semi good at and just stayed put. And like, low key, I had written some like magazine articles and like boring academic articles that nobody's ever going to read. But I just always never, I don't know. I always thought I wasn't like creative enough to like break out and have a foray into the fiction world. And like just one day I was like, I don't want to look up when I'm 80 and be like, dang, I wish I would have tried.
Hmm.
And so I was like, worst case scenario, it's like terrible. At least I, took my shot. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just been like such a fun process. Like sci-fi and dystopian stuff is like what I love. That's like always where I go to in the bookstores, and that's the type of movies I like. And I was like, man, I what better person to write a dystopian sci-fi novel than the person who likes to read it. So it was fun to get to make those decisions and build a world, that I kind of wanted to see become a reality. So yeah, I guess that's kind of a Fast and Furious version of it, but it's been super fun just to make people and make places and kind of decide what their directions and trajectories are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild to think, because about the. I'm trying to think what years of college it actually was, because this was after
It was,
the old 1950s dorm to the on-campus apartments before I made the move to the sort of newer dorms before I went off campus,
yeah, there was a
and
lot of like dorm hopping. I kind of did the same thing.
so through that journey, because, we were, socially hanging out and all this stuff before. And it wasn't until like a couple years later after that point, which is when I played my very first game of Dungeons and Dragons Halloween night 2010 in my apartment. And then I was like, oh, so this is like my new hobby and my new thing that I'm passionate about and want to pursue and do. So this was kind of like after, we were keeping in touch, but we weren't seeing each other as much. And so
Yeah.
so it's not like I could come to you and be like, wow, you're an English major and, you're becoming this English professor. And surely you're in around this world of Dungeons and Dragons, which I think is the perfect segue to the next question, which is, do you currently or have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons before? Because
Yeah.
we've had noted academic English professor, Dr. Emily Friedman, who actually does like a lot of work with studying tabletop role playing games and actual plays and stuff. So she's like putting the academia angle on Dungeons and Dragons. So it just makes me assume naturally, well, all English professors must know about Dungeons and Dragons and have to play it as part of their hiring process.
I know. Honestly, like I think that that would be a great HR additive. Just include that into the hiring application. So I am ashamed to admit, if you want to include like booing sounds in the background.
No,
uh,
no, 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 no.
yeah, I have not played Dungeons and Dragons, but I do, like my brother did, and then I have several friends who do. I don't think it's a accident or coincidence that people who really like, fantasy fiction or like sci-fi and stuff like
Mhm.
that, like also enjoy those types of games. And I mean, now I think you have inspired me. Like I have a good friend that I do jujitsu with actually, and
Ooh.
she is into Dungeons and Dragons and plays. So I think I might just shamelessly ask if
Yeah.
if they'll take a newbie under their wings and let
Oh,
me.
for sure. Everyone in this hobby loves bringing new people into the hobby.
They're like, fresh blood.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh blood. And what the transcription readers were hearing during the ad break portion was, when we talk about our sponsorship with Plus One EXP and the RPG Zine Club, the whole idea behind it is like, oh, hey, we need good gaming diets. Like, it's good to have meat and taters as like a staple, but like, you need to mix up your cuisine a little bit so you can like get new ideas, get fresh perspectives and all that. So if we're only ever just playing Dungeons and Dragons, then we're kind of doing ourselves a disservice. And by that same token, if we're only just playing games with like the only people we know, and we're not like actively doing the work to like, hey, I think you would like this because you're a nerd like me. And we don't, it doesn't have to be D&D. Maybe it could be a sci-fi game because there's loads of different kinds of science fiction based tabletop role playing games, whether it's like the Star Wars based ones, Star Trek has a number of different ones, even Doctor Who has a tabletop role playing game.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
yeah, you've got the whole gamut. So it sounds exciting. Then you've got a friend who can make you one of us, one of us.
Yeah. No, I would love that. I love that there's like a community aspect to it. I think that everybody, wants a group to belong to, and like shared interests and all of that. And so I think the kind of communal component is really cool.
And also, I think in this post pandemic time, I think people yearn for physical in person community. It's great that the tools and technologies are there.
Yeah.
So, if you want to play tabletop role playing games with your brother who lives out of town and with your cousin who lives in a different state and that friend you made at that conference that one time, but they live in Switzerland,
Yeah.
you can do it through the power of technology. But there is something to be said about having your friends and family local in the area just coming together and being like, all right, we're going to commit to like a couple of hours. We're going to roll some dice and just be goofy and play pretend and have fun.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. There's something that you can't replace about like the physicality, the closeness of people. I don't know. Cool things happen when you sit around a table with people. So I love that.
Yeah. And so, with this podcast being called Sidekicks and Side Quests, we like to ask the question about the others. And we like to ask the questions about the different kinds of paths not taken or not easily observed. So, the first of these, who happens to be your favorite sidekick or NPC, whether they're from a game, a movie, film, television, literature, etc.? And why is this character your favorite sidekick or NPC?
That's such a cool question. I feel like that those are the crews that don't get the highlights very often, and oftentimes they're the ones they're carrying the story, right?
Mhm.
Or they're doing a lot of heavy lifting. Okay, so I know that this is probably like a super like cliche answer, but I've got a couple actually.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we gotta shout out to our boy Samwise from Lord of the Rings because
Mhm.
he is like the OG
Yes.
sidekick extraordinaire. Okay, I don't know if you guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like Detective Boyle is the best because when I was really like thinking about that, he and Sam are kind of the same. It's like they're loyal, they're funny, they're optimistic, and I don't know, I like that about sidekicks where they're like, hey, you may not have like, you might need some umph, you might need some encouragement and somebody to be like, we got this, let's go, let's go, let's go. And so
Mhm.
I think them. And then, so, I gotta, I gotta shamelessly plug books because I'm a nerdy nerd and I read a lot. But I just finished the Mistborn trilogy, which is a Brandon Sanderson series.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like literally so good. Like one of those series that you think about days and days and days afterwards. And so I don't know if Sazed, the character in that series, counts as like a sidekick. He's not like one of the main characters, but he was just like a constant presence. And like even when he was struggling, he still showed up for his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And then I know the Red Rising series has kind of like exploded into this like cult classic, cracked out following on social media. But there's a couple on there too that are, I think like the underlying thread between all of these like sidekicks is loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of a cool thing to realize where I was like, okay, I obviously value that if that's what I'm picking as far as like the sidekicks that I love.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you mentioned Mistborn and Brian Sanderson. I have to say, if you haven't watched it on social media, there was a fantastic keynote address that Brian Sanderson gave in regards to like art and AI. And what I found really fascinating, because it was reminding me of it when you were explaining, like, oh, when I get to 80, do I want to? It's like, no, let's go ahead and write the thing. And it was reminding me very much of the story, the truncated story that Sanderson was giving in that keynote, where he was talking about like, well, I wrote like my first book and it stunk, but it was the book that gave me experience that
Yeah.
then let me write this other book and then to make this other book. And then that's where I found my voice. And then
Mhm.
that's how he became this monster writer and just churning out book after book.
Oh my gosh.
And with the connection with TTRPGs, if you like Brian Sanderson's stuff,
Mhm.
his whole Cosmere universe is being made into a tabletop role playing game. It actually broke some Kickstarter fundraising records as being one of the
Okay.
most heavily invested in. People want to see his universe turned into a tabletop role playing game. So if that's something that interests you, that you're like, okay, D&D, maybe that's fun to play like once or twice, but I want to go all in Cosmere, then
Yeah.
that's something that you could totally do.
No, what have you done? You've you've told me all the things and now I'm like, where can I pay into the Kickstart? So,
Well,
no,
it's
that's
already fundraised. I think it's
I
at
feel like
this
it's
point
done.
they're getting close to like you just buy the books now and you can just get started with some of the first stuff that's already come out.
Yeah, his like world building is insane and just characters that you buy into and you believe in and all of that. And yeah, no, he's wild. I actually did read something from him similar to what you were saying, that he just had to just make the draft happen first. It's like it's okay
Mhm.
if it's bad. It's okay if it's not great or you're not the best at something, but you have to make it exist first. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I just really appreciated like the honesty in that, because sometimes it sounds like, oh, this is the first thing I ever wrote and it's amazing. and and a guy that prolific is sitting here going, that's not how it was for me, but it can still work
Right.
out. So
Exactly. You get the necessary street cred.
yeah.
You get your punches, you get your lumps, and then you're like, okay, I know what to do next time, or I know how to find my voice or make it my own, so I don't get those critiques of like, oh, you're just ripping off some guy from the late 1800s or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's super cool. I think maybe D&D, it'll suck me in and then it'll be my like gateway adventure into maybe the Cosmere world.
Yeah. And then the same side of the coin, or the other side of the coin, however that phrase is meant to go, we got to ask about the side quest. So, what is one of your favorite side quest or B plot elements? Again, whether it comes from video game, movie, film, television, literature, etc. And why is this side quest or B plot element your favorite?
That's such a good question. So, side quests. I mean, shamelessly, like I love a good like romance plot. Like I think that, it's just believable and natural and like oftentimes in relationships, like just relational dynamics, I guess, between characters.
Mhm.
So I'm a sucker for that.
Who doesn't love a little smooching in their
I
fighting game?
know. You gotta have somebody that you're willing to fight for,
Yeah.
It's just a little umph there. But I also really like, I don't know if this counts as like a side quest, but like learning about the character's past, like what makes them who they are. I like that. I mean, I like knowing that about real life people. And I think it only makes sense to understand characters better, to like, where have you come from? Because I think
Mhm.
that tells us a lot about where you're at now. Yeah, so I think maybe a side quest is a flashback, if that
Okay.
counts. Yeah.
I was gonna say, are you? I'm trying to remember again from our college days, which I don't even want to utter out loud for the, we're in the presence of a lady. I don't want to say how long ago college was for us,
Yeah.
but in those years, I don't know, were you ever much of a gamer? I know Brandon was because
Oh, yeah.
they were big into like the skating games and stuff like that, which I
Oh,
remember.
yeah, so he actually still is a gamer, and now our sons are. So, we're just, generational connections there, but, uh, so I would play just to play with friends and stuff. Honestly am, like, not very good. So,
Okay.
I'm like,
You say like, "Oh, I like romance and stuff like that." And some people would say the biggest D&D related video game that's come out within the last goodness, almost 3 years now at this point, Baldur's Gate 3, which
uh-huh,
if you haven't heard about, yeah, it's part of the D&D canon universe. It's a
mhm.
major award-winning video game that you could sink hundreds of hours into, and you get to learn about all these characters that are in your party, and some people are like, oh yes, I like to romance this character or that character while I'm doing my playthroughs and stuff like that. So I thought, oh, if there was like a synergy of a video game for Erin to satisfy all her loves of side quests and B plot elements, she'd probably like Baldur's Gate
Listen,
3.
you were like the, like, gaming matchmaker. Like, that's gonna be your, like, your title. I love that. No, I think I just have to be invested in the people. Maybe that's like part of my thing. I know like Brandon played Destiny for a long time, and
Oh yeah, that's more sci-fi. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and so I would actually sit and watch him play just because I liked the story, and so he would like fill me in on the characters and these worlds and all of that stuff, and yeah, and so I think I just am a sucker for the storyline, which I
I
guess
might have to just send you like a video where someone's done like a very quick like boil down of each character without spoiling the plot of the game to be like, here are the main characters you find. If they're interesting to you, you probably want to play Baldur's Gate 3 and get lost for hours.
seriously,
I
please.
should be grading papers. No, I think I'm going to go into the goblin camp again in Act 1.
Nope, I'm gonna go over here. Honestly, like if that game sticks, like Brandon may send you like a floral arrangement. So you finally made a gamer out of me. I appreciate the gaming. I just am like dexterily bad, I think is what part of the problem is. But yeah,
It's a
I'm
turn-based game, luckily, so the time will slow down and allow you to like plot out your moves of what you
gonna
want to
allow me
do.
to catch up.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, then you know what? I don't want to look back when I'm 80 and be like, dang, I wish I would have tried it. So
There
Baldur's
you
Gate
go.
3, I'm gonna check it out.
Yes. Yes, one of us for sure. And at the same time it basically teaches you how to play 5th edition D&D more or less cuz
Okay.
those mechanics of the actual tabletop role playing game went into the baking and the making of the video game. So
Oh, that's so
there's
cool.
a few tweaks that obviously in a video game, that you have to program in that you can't quite do. Like if you're just at a table and you can look at the guy and be like, well, I want to do this. And then he's just like, okay, roll a dice and let's see what you get. We'll see whether or not it happens. Whereas and obviously in a video game, you can only have so many limitations, but
Right.
there are a lot of ways you could do many things in the game and you could get lost in hours of YouTube with people being like, hey, did you know that this secret was over here? Or if you chose this different path, you could have gotten this outcome in this interaction and stuff.
Oh, see, those are so cool to like kind of build your own adventure. I love the games that are like you get different outcomes based on your choices as the player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is definitely the game for that. And
Oh, dang.
yep. Well, before I turn this into a Baldur's Gate 3 podcast, I
Yeah.
have to ask the final question here and say, Aaron, what are you passionate about and why?
Oh, okay. So, man, that's such a good big question. I mean, I think first thing is like definitely my faith. Like, we're pastors at our church, and so that's a huge, like, inextricably linked thing that we're passionate about is, our faith there. But I actually just got into jujitsu also like a year and a half ago, and I guess not just got into it, but again, on this like wild quest, maybe my side quest is doing stuff that scares me, that I'm like, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay, I'm going to try it. Because I don't know, like it sounds cliche, but like life's too short to like not do stuff because it scares you. So yeah, I did jujitsu. I've been doing it, and just like everybody who first starts, I was terrible and didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just been super fun. Like you meet all kinds of cool people. Like my friend I mentioned that plays D&D. She's one of the girls there that we roll around and try to choke or armbar each other, and then we talk about books and and games and stuff afterwards. So yeah, that's been really fun. And obviously my kids and my family and writing. I think just like the community that you find like in the writing world, and when you find people with like similar overlapping interests, that's just super cool. Like there's so much like negative stuff out there, but there's so much good stuff too. And I think that that's been really cool to find is, the support and encouragement of people in these realms of like shared interests and stuff. And so I don't know, I feel pretty passionate about like making sure I pay that forward and, be that person for others too. So there's enough grumpy people out there. We need some good stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to do a disservice if I don't at least here link it with this passion question I've asked. But how have those passions in your life translated into the writing of this first novel of yours? Obviously, I'm not going to have you spill the beans and give us the whole novel away on this podcast because that's not the place for that. But I don't know if you just kind of had to tease us and be like, overall, like, what's the novel about? And so then when we get to the end of the podcast and we're doing all the plugs and stuff, that way people will know and learn about you as we're making the character of like, okay, I understand what's going on with this novel, and let me get invested in and go reserve my copy and go get it.
No, you're the best. Thanks so much for asking about that. So kind of like how those things connect into writing this first book.
Yeah.
Yeah, like gosh, like I said, I have always loved that genre. Like, I mean, even back when I read A Wrinkle in Time for the first time when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I just have
Junior
always
high.
been, I know, right? Yeah, or Ender's Game. Ender's Game went hard. Like that was such a good book.
Never actually read that one.
Okay, it's like shameless plug. That's a really good one. Orson Scott Card, I think, is the writer of that one. But anyways, I was just always like super intrigued at like, oh my gosh, these people have built these whole worlds, And when I was able to appreciate Tolkien, I think you have to maybe age a bit before you're like, dang, that is masterful.
Or you have to be like me and just be born Catholic and then just inherently be like, the Catholicity of this work, it's just a part of my identity now.
You're like, it is who I am. Like
Yes.
that you grow up having like memorized a Silmarillion.
Yes.
That's
Well,
so
not quite that. I mean, it's we're Catholic. We get credit for at least reading it and at least knowing it exists.
yeah, you're like, it is a thing. I know that. Yeah. So I don't know, just having grown up like loving all of that. And I'm very much a like optimist, whether I want to be or not. And oftentimes, and this is kind of some feedback I've gotten from some like beta readers and stuff, but like, dystopians and sci-fi are often kind of dark and like,
Oh yeah.
like
Like
there's
Blade Runner. Yeah.
yeah, where it's like there is no hope. And that was actually kind of what I wanted to do the opposite of with mine, where I was like, okay, like everything kind of sucks and it's like dire, but hope is the driving force. And so it's kind of like a anti like trope, I guess, like people, yeah. And that was kind of like the vein I went with.
But not farcical, not like something like Terry Gilliam's Brazil or something like that.
No, nothing like that. I mean, it's very like earnest and like, I mean, there's loss and like devastation and some like really like, I mean, like I said, the beta readers and like early releasers that have read it are like, I am devastated. I have cried. Oh my gosh. but I think like when I was thinking about, okay, the connection between like, if people like D&D and kind of like build your own adventure and like you don't know quite what you're going to get based on the dice rolls and stuff, the ending of the book is kind of like that. So maybe that's a good like dangle the carrot in front of you kind of interest point. But the ending, and I can't say much because I don't want to give it away, but the ending is
Sure.
very much like a discussion point. Like, okay, reader,
Interesting.
what do you think? It doesn't, directly like break the
Fourth wall.
fourth wall, yeah, and ask that, but yeah. So just kind of like our lives are inextricably like linked and overlapping, and the choices that I make affect the choices that are made over here, and same thing with the characters, so not being a D&D expert or anything, but it's like the choices that I make ultimately affect the other people that are existing with me. So what does that look like, and what do we do in response to it? But yeah, so there's like a whole crew, like there's a crew of friends, like found family, and I mean, it's like you kind of fall in love with them, and like they're flawed and not, they have issues, but then there's some redemption, and then people you just straight up hate. There's one character that the feedback I've gotten is like, dude, this guy sucks and I don't like him. And I'm like, perfect. That's what I wanted you to feel like. But yeah, so I don't know, just I think whether or not I think it's all about like the side of the coin that you choose to see. Like, it can be bad, but there's so much good to be seen too. And that's kind of how I approached writing this, was not like satire or anything, but like almost like an anti-trope. Like everything is typically dark and really like, the midnight of the soul kind of a thing. And you never quite get out of that with this genre. And my goal was to flip the coin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've crafted a pretty, by the book sort of D&D campaign.
Yes.
And you've structured it. You've got a party, and we follow them along, and then there's a big twist at the end. And then you're like, all right, what did you think? So yeah, I think like once you probably play a couple, my prediction is you're going to play a couple of games of D&D or any TTRPG, maybe some of that Cosmere stuff. You're going to play a couple of them. You're going to play a couple games, and then you're going to get the bug because you're an author now and a writer. And you're going to be like, okay, well, I think I could design my own one shot and then turn this into a campaign. And then I'm recruiting people to come to my table and play out the stories, and then see how the story, and if you run the same story multiple times with multiple groups, you can see how each group has approached the story differently.
Oh,
And that's kind of the fun of being a dungeon master.
It's just like plotting. It's like storyline plotting.
Except you can't control the characters. The characters will be the characters, and you have to account for random chance from the dice. And that's basically how D&D works.
Like, honestly, though, I think that would be really helpful, even in just like getting out of your own head and being like, what are the options? Like, oh, I didn't see that one. Like, okay, then let's go this way. Okay, I need to learn how to like play D&D and be really good at it. And so that way it'll help me with book number 2.
There we go. And the way that we're going to learn the very basics of D&D is we're going to get into some NPC creation.
Yes, I'm excited.
And NPC creation is brought to you by you, our podcast audience, and our patrons from Patreon. So now's the time in the show where we give a shout out to our comfortable patrons and above with a loud hurrah. So I've got my glass of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. So cheers to you, Anson Jablinski, and good old mom and dad. All these fine folks that I named, they donate $2 or more a month at least to get that shout out. But they're all actually wealthy patrons, which means they get to introduce an element of chance to our random table. So we might get to hear some of their responses used today. If I said my English words properly, they get to introduce stuff for our random tables, and we get to use them and hear them sometimes. And that's a benefit of being a wealthy tier patron. And we've got all kinds of stuff waiting for you in the Patreon. It's a simple, humble podcaster's way of asking for your support to keep this passion project going, the lights on and all that good stuff. So if you want to find out about what we've got waiting, or you just want to join the growing number of free people that hang out, which, hey, we're happy to have you too, go to the show notes below, go to the podcast website, or just go directly to patreon.com/sidekicks and side quests to find out more about all of the options that we have awaiting for you of your patronage. Help us to grow and expand our operations at the Levitating Platter in this demiplane and worlds beyond. Okay, so we are now here at the part of the show where we get to make up a character. And since you're new to this whole thing, we've got a virtual dice roller pulled up. We're just going to work our way through the questions. You're going to get to familiarize yourself with all the different dice that we use in a standard game of Dungeons and Dragons. And before the end of this, you will be an expert. I guarantee it. Or I almost nearly guarantee it.
Perfect. I'm excited.
Yes. All right. So then the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what is going to be the name of our character? And the way that we generate a name is we roll a d20. So if you find the d20 dice and give that a click.
All right. 13 is what I got.
Perfect. All right. And as I check the list, aha, your answer was provided to us by our previous guest, Britt Anderson, fantabulous artist. Nora Swift. Oh, and I should say she's done book art. So if you're looking for book art, I could put you in contact. There you go, Britt. But yes, Nora Swift is the name we are working with today.
Perfect.
So definitely sounds like a protagonist.
It does. Yeah, that's definitely got like main character vibes.
All right. And then the next thing that we roll for is the ancestry of the character, the race, the species, the background.
Listen.
And the way that we generate this is we roll 2 d10s to give us like a d100 effect.
Okay. So just roll it back to back?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. All right. So the first one was 1.
Okay.
And then the second one is 6.
Okay. So a 16. Ooh, a Goliath.
Ooh, I'm
So,
already intrigued.
yes. So Goliaths, basically, if I try to give you the truncated short version, think of them as descended from giants. So they're still like medium-sized category. That means to say like they're taller than most normal humanoid creatures. So they stand a little bit taller than like normal folks. They tend to be like bald-ish, grayish skin, some like tribal looking markings naturally on their skin.
Okay.
Don't mind me here in the background while I just find a quick reference, and then I'll just send that over in the chat. So you can kind of like see what they're like and read through them a little bit while we're exploring the character and stuff. So Nora Swift is a Goliath.
Okay. All right, I've got the link pulled up.
Perfect.
Ooh, very cool.
Yes. And then the next thing that we get to roll for is the occupation, the job or role in society that our Nora Swift is going to have. And the way that we determine this is we roll just a regular D10 to figure out what their job or role in society is going to be.
All right, that's a 9.
9. Okay. Your answer provided to us by previous guest, Jade. Alchemist. So Nora Swift, the Goliath Alchemist.
Okay.
And let's see, the next thing we roll for, we try to get a rough age range. Sometimes if people come in super nerdy, they can like say a specific number, but we just kind of get like a rough age. So this you get to roll a D8, and that'll kind of tell us like the category that we're looking for.
Okay, perfect. That one is a 7.
Ancient.
Ooh,
We have an
ancient alchemist.
ancient alchemist named Nora Swift, who's a Goliath. So now is the fun part where I say, okay, we're putting our dice down for a second because now we've got Nora Swift, a Goliath, who's ancient and an alchemist. So with all those details in mind and some of those ancestry references I sent to you, when you get all those details in your mind, can you describe a physical appearance of how you envision Nora Swift to appear?
Oh, okay. Well, so you mentioned that they kind of are like have like grayish skin. Do Goliaths have hair?
I think the female Goliaths will tend to have like hair on their head. I think most males tend to be bald. Although the notable exception you'll find in popular D&D / Critical Role media is you'll find a character by the name of Grog Strongjaw, played famously by Travis Willingham. At one point, to make a long story short of the actual play campaign, and then Amazon Prime did the. So if you're looking for a cartoon show of D&D to follow, that would be Critical Roles, The Legend of Vox Machina, and then The Mighty Nine are both adult animated television shows that are on Amazon Prime. In The Legend of Vox Machina slash the first campaign for Critical Role, Grog Strongjaw, the Goliath, finds a belt of dwarven kind, and it allows him to grow a full beard. When normally Goliath would not be able to have facial hair, but through the use of a magic item, he does. But otherwise, mostly it's like we're hairless. We are adept at living high in the mountains. We are descended from giants, and we're big, strong folk. Sort of a vibe is typically what they have. But the beauty of this podcast is that we can take the lore and we can crumple it up and throw it away over our shoulder into the trash can, or
Okay.
you can take what is canon as per the Forgotten Realms, Wizards of the Coast, wikis and official lore and canon. But it's your character, so how do you think Nora Swift, the Goliath ancient alchemist, would physically appear when we are meeting her in our games of D&D?
Okay. So I was reading through some of the wiki information on him, and so she's ancient, so she's been around for a minute. So I read that they could have blue or green eyes that kind of glow. So can we do kind of glowy green eyes
Okay,
for our friend
cool.
Nora? Maybe like a braided mohawk. Keep her hair out of the way,
Yeah.
but still looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's going to be strong and it's muscular, able-bodied, and okay,
Yeah,
so
like average height between 7 to 8 feet typically,
yeah, that's
regardless of whether they're dudes or ladies. So how tall do you think our
okay.
ancient
You know
Goliath
what?
is?
Let's just say that she is straight up 8 feet tall. She is a commanding presence. Our
She's a
friend.
mountain of a woman.
Yeah, she's a lot of woman. She's a lot of
Whole lot of woman.
nobody's messing with her. Yeah, and so I looked here at there's growths called lithoderms. So that's cool. Maybe she's got because she's ancient. She's been older and been around for a while. It looks like studded pebbles on their arms and shoulders or head. So let's do she's got straight lithoderms all over her arms.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
So
bony growths. Oh, okay. So it's
yeah. I was
okay.
just kind of reading some about him. I was like, what's gonna make her physically interesting and textured?
Yeah. And so how does this kind of factor into her alchemy work? Like,
Okay.
does she appear any different because she's been doing alchemy stuff?
I mean, yeah, if she's mixing things together, I would say so. I think that her skin is rougher. And then I don't know if alchemy plays into the growths on her arm, but it would make sense if she's
Ooh.
mixing things together a bunch, then, maybe that's,
Is
oh,
it like making the skin kind of go away and more of the bony growths are being exposed or coming
yeah.
out?
What if the growths are proof of her ability in alchemy? She's got a lot of growths, and so it shows that she's exceptionally good at her craft.
Ooh.
I
Is
don't
that something that's unique to her tribe or this regional culture that we find her in, or even this town or point of civilization that she's in?
know.
Is she more of a country girl or is she a city gal?
Okay, what if she her tribe lives on the outskirts of a larger metropolis? So
Okay.
she can get into town, but she's more of she likes the wide open spaces.
Mm. Okay. So
Maybe that's
I was trying to think of a Texas parallel where it's okay, so she lives in she lives in Bee Cave and
shut
she's
up. I was
outside of
literally
Austin.
gonna say Bee Cave. I was literally thinking that. Yeah, so she lives in Bee Cave, but she can get into Austin if she needs to.
Ah, well, fun fact, video game nerd here, because that's where the TF2 engineer comes from. In the lore of the game, they're oh, the engineer character from Team Fortress 2 is from Bee Cave, Texas. And
Oh,
he's my most played class in Team Fortress 2 because Sentry's over here. Yeah, all that good stuff.
love that.
Okay, so she's got these bony growths and she's making alchemy potions. So she lives in a smaller community outside of an actual major city. And
Mhm.
then I don't know anything else to note about her appearance. What's gonna anything to help set her apart or anything else?
Um, okay, so I'm reading here that like they only went to war as like a final option. So like what if okay, so she's older. I feel like that the her age is helping with some backstory options, but so what if she's got like a crazy scar like on her
Ooh.
face?
Ooh, okay, like a big scar on her
Yeah, like
face.
maybe like down like the left side across her eye or something. Like her eye's fine, but she's got a scar. So like she's seen some things.
Yeah.
And so you're like,
Okay.
what happened here? Tell me the story behind the scar.
Yeah. And not to mention, I'm pretty sure Alchemist is a subclass option for a artificer, which is basically like to break it down as like that's a magic using class. Think of them as like magical engineers.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think our alchemist is a subclass of that. So, and like in an explaining way of you're like, oh, she has this big scar on her face and she's seen some stuff. Maybe she used to be an adventurer in her younger years, and she's basically like just lived this long or outlived, or she's retired and she's like, well, I did my stuff. I got to level 20. I maxed out, and now I'm just in town making potions. And anyone who tries to give me guff, I just get to bust out my level 20 abilities and put them all to
Ooh,
shame.
okay. So yeah, so living the retired life, but she's still got some like skills under the surface.
Yeah, or if she's still got connections, if she's affiliated with some sort of like adventurers guild or
Ah,
however you assume. Yeah.
okay, I'm here for it. All right. So
Okay.
that's Nora.
Okay. And then to go along with the physical description we've come up with, it helps with role playing purposes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What three adjectives would best describe Nora Swift?
Ooh, okay. Reserved.
Okay.
Okay. Observant.
Okay.
And oh shoot, I'm gonna get like all panicky and not be able to think of a third one. Uh what if she's like I don't know, I don't want to say something like normal and boring, like patient, but all right, can I phone a friend? Can I phone in to Kurt and get a option list?
Yeah, I mean, I know with this new experiment that I've been doing with the reels, with trying to be like, what's a fun way to make a bunch of NPCs that like are like a very like a minute long version of one of these episodes that
Yeah.
I do with a guest. And the way when I got to this question, the way I broke it up and made it fun on the reels was like, okay, let me categorize on a D6 roll, like if a 1 to 2 was a positive adjective, a 3 to 4 was something neutral, and then a 5 or a 6 was like a negative associated with adjective. And it kind of gives you a variety. So if you're not like, or even just the basic rule, of like, oh, they're reserved, they're kind, but here's a flaw, or like here's something weird about them. It's kind of like a good way to like play
Ooh,
off it.
okay, yeah. So, okay, what if she's like, I don't know, what if she's like a perfectionist? Like she has like very little like,
Well, that would go with being an alchemist. You obviously have to get your proportions right if you want
yeah,
to make a smoke bomb properly.
yeah, right. But what if she's like to the point of like that's her catch where she like has very little grace for mistakes,
Mm,
like for herself or anyone else?
yeah. If it goes back to something from her adventuring days, maybe she
Ooh,
used to be
yeah,
more carefree, but then in a moment when something happened,
yeah,
gave her a big scar. That's what made the change where she's like, no, I have to be perfect from now on. I
yes.
can't be as carefree and loose
No,
as I
you
once
see this
was.
scar? That's what it cost me. So yeah, okay, let's do that.
All right, perfect. And now is the part where I say, and now we get to go back to some dice rolling because now our alchemist, Nora Swift, has to have something cool on her person. So, what's going to be the valuable item, piece of lore, secret, or ideal or concept that she would ascribe to? This is a combination. So, we're going to do a D4 for the category and
Okay.
then a D6 for the particular thing.
Ooh, okay. All right, D4 was a 4, and
Okay.
6 was also a 4.
Okay. Well, this will be interesting to find how this square goes in the round hole, but This answer provided to us by previous guest Elise Basili. She may be a perfectionist, but her ideal or concept that really kind of guides her life is simplicity.
Okay.
So how does the perfectionism yet the simplicity sort of gel together for her as a character?
Okay. Well, so maybe that's like,
Is she like an Apple user where it's like it has to be perfect, but it has to aesthetically look very simple
yeah,
and
maybe.
sleek?
Maybe she's a minimalist.
A minimalist, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, so if she is like, this has to be perfect, like maybe she lives very simply and does things like from a simplistic perspective. So there's not as much room for error.
Mm. Okay.
So maybe the minimalist is how those two things coincide.
Okay, so she's a perfectionist and she abides by simplicity through the lens of minimalism. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
her alchemy shop is not very so her alchemy shop is
It's
like an
so
Apple
organized.
store. It's not like a wild and crazy like look at all these odds and ends on my shelves. It's like these
No,
are the potions. This is what you're getting when you're coming in here.
she legit has like OCD. So that's that's what I'm seeing is like everything is measured and in clear jars, clearly labeled. I don't know if Goliath or alchemists have cool scales or something, but she
Oh yeah.
measures stuff down to the gram.
Wow. Okay, that precise in her accuracies and measurements.
That's yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Perfect. And then we want all of our NPCs to have bright gold exclamation points above their heads so you know that they have a side quest waiting to offer you if you only just go and talk to them and interact with them. So, for the last dice roll, to truly make it random on a D12, what is going to be the side quest that Nora Swift is going to offer up to a bunch of player characters to go and do on her behalf?
Okay. That's a 12.
Ooh, okay. Well, your answer was provided to us by Nicole, the Game Master Mom, a good friend of the podcast. The side quest: find some missing pages from an important book. So, what
Ooh.
does this mean? Is she working on some elusive alchemical formula, but there are some missing pages?
Yeah. I mean, that's what initially came to my mind. Like maybe she got like a secret request to like make a potion or a concoction and but she finds that the pages are missing from her perfectionist workshop.
Ooh. And is it like a sign of I don't know, is it like a sign of she doesn't want to admit that like, "Oh,
Uh,
I can't believe I don't have these pages," and so she's like quietly asking the right people when they come into her shop to do the mission, or is she like going out of her way to like find someone to go find these missing pages?
ooh, okay. I think that she's like, if she's kind of struggling with like perfectionism, she's not going to be like, yo, I messed up. Or, somebody broke in here and stole my stuff.
Right.
And she's reserved. So she's not going to be probably out super boisterous about this either. So I think this is like a
You have
hush
to talk to her the right way.
hush side quest. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have the idea. Okay, so find some missing pages from this important book. Okay. So we don't have to necessarily nail it all down, but just to give like the goalposts, like the rough idea, so then when the dungeon master is integrating this character, they can kind of curtail or tweak them specific for their game. But when she gives this side quest and she charges them, all right, go and find these missing pages and then return to me the missing pages, what is she going to reward the players with for the completion of this side quest?
Ooh. And this isn't a dice roll option. I just get to come
Nope,
up
it's
with
just logically what we figured out about this character, and you know her pretty well at this point. What is she going to be willing to offer to a bunch of heroes for completing this side quest of finding the missing pages for this important book?
it. Okay, I have two thoughts that just randomly popped in my head. What maybe this isn't as cool of a one, but like potion of your choice, kind of like,
Ooh,
you get a freebie whatever
okay,
whatever you need and whenever you want to claim it. So it doesn't have to be now, but maybe she gives them like a token or something that they can return
redeem.
back. Yeah.
Okay,
Or like And then what if like
Does
not?
she put a limit on it? I mean, I guess if she's this high enough level alchemist,
Yeah.
theoretically, she could make all kinds of potions from like super common mundane ones to
To like
like
serious ones.
super serious ones that could be like, this is a potion of resurrection that could bring someone back from the dead.
Okay, so what if she does do that and then one of the or the token comes back but with not one of the initial people and they're like, this person gave this to me. I need you to resurrect them.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
don't
sense.
know.
So I don't know that, or maybe like a token, like an IOU token, or maybe she like they come back and they're like, hey, we need you to come with us to like be our alchemist in this like battle thing.
Oh, so she's willing to lend her services
Yeah.
possibly in like a big future to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like of the campaign, like, hey, we're gonna go fight the ancient red dragon. We need an alchemist feeding us health
Uh-huh.
potions.
Yeah.
Like,
So either she like gives them tokens to redeem later, or she's like, or you can call upon my services. So like kind of tit for tat kind of a thing.
okay, this is again definitely kind of a hint and a preview of Baldur's Gate 3, but based upon the choices of all the different little NPCs or sidekicks you interact with in the game, when you get to the very end of the game, based on how you made your choices, will depend upon who you can call as an ally in the very end in the big fight. So that's
Oh.
kind of like in a Baldur's Gate 3 sort of a thing. Like, okay, you did the side quest for me. If you ever happen to have a big battle, I guess you could call on my services if you need it.
Okay. Okay. So it just another notch that I'm gonna like that the game.
Yeah.
All right.
But now we have to consider the opposite. What is going to be the consequence of failure or refusing the call to the adventure? So she's this very reserved perfectionist.
Yeah.
They come into her shop, they're flashing coin, they're buying all the potions. She's like, you know what? These folks might actually be competent. She gives them the quest. And they're like, psh, we don't got time for that. We're busy here fighting liches and skeleton armies and all this stuff. Why would we waste our time with going to look for pages? That's one thing. Or it's like, okay, they get the mission, but the pages are destroyed, the pages disappear from this realm of existence, or some extenuating circumstances where the pages are no longer retrievable. What's going to be the consequence of failure or refusing the call to the adventure?
Ooh.
How is she going to react to that when they come back and they're empty handed? Or they've told her no to her face?
I mean, I know that she's like reserved and stuff, but what if she just like straight loses it?
She could.
Is she allowed to do that? Like what if like
Yeah.
that's like the last
She
straw?
immediately gets hostile if they tell her no to her face.
Yeah, or she like uses a potion on him. Are you allowed to
Ooh.
do that?
Dungeon Master is the referee of the game and has a lot of things going for them on their side. So if Nora Swift is told no to her face, maybe depending on the scale of rudeness,
Yeah,
because maybe a polite no thank you would be treated differently than like a
sure.
flat no.
Yeah,
Ugh,
like
why waste our time?
yeah. So I think if like
A
it's
potion of polymorph could drop from the ceiling and turn one of them into a sheep.
that's gonna I want that to happen. So yes. So yeah, let's just say that they're like super rude and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna make a kind of use you as a scapegoat for lack of a better close pun. But and turns one of them into a goat and then the rest of them are like, oh shoot, we didn't realize who. Or
Or
maybe her like reputation precedes her and they've heard about like what she did to get the scar.
true.
And so, but I don't know. I kind of like the goat thing because it would be funny.
It's very comical. I mean, most time, I think there's a meme that's gone around where it's like when you envision D&D starting, you envision yourself being like the Fellowship of the Ring. We're very serious, we're multicultural, and we're going to charge against the world. And then
Yeah.
it's like what your game actually devolves into, and it very quickly becomes Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, where everyone's just like slapstick and running around and trying to make sense of heads or tails.
Yeah. Well, then let's go straight Monty Python and they're a goat.
Okay, so if you're super rude to her face, she's going to drop a potion of polymorph on you, and you will turn into a goat, and there will be all the rules and ramifications for dealing with that, as I guess is sort of a warning. So, and if the party aggroes her and they decide to get confrontational,
Mhm.
obviously they're going to have to deal with her community. Cause I imagine, the Goliath community is not going to like getting hostile in her shop. And she's also a retired level 20 artificer alchemist. So I'm sure she can probably hold her own for a while backup comes in. So,
I'm here for that. Yeah.
but okay. And then as far as if it's a failure, as far as like, Miss Nora Swift, you sent us on this quest. We did everything that we could. We gave it our all, but the pages were burned by the bad guys at the last second, or, something, they disappeared into the astral sea and we have no way of retrieving them. Like, or they disappeared into the deepest pits of the circles of hell. Like, there's no way for us to be able to get these pages. Please have mercy on us. What's going to happen?
Okay. So is she allowed to send them on another side quest? Like, hey,
Totally.
there's one other place in this like other location where this book, like a copy of this book exists.
Okay. So it's
Uh,
a rare and elusive book. So if you fail, she gives you another opportunity. Now you have to go to an even more dangerous place
yeah,
to retrieve the copy of this book.
and get it from her like mentor.
Okay. Is it
So,
like so her mentor, who's her mentor?
I don't know.
Or you leave, okay, we just leave it up. Okay. Yeah. Whoever her
We haven't
mentor
rolled
is.
enough dice for that. I haven't developed a mentor character yet, but maybe there's just like another edition of the book that exists, somewhere
Okay.
far, far away. And so now they have to
In a
like,
trap laden dungeon that's,
yeah.
full of nasty beasties and puzzles and traps. And
And
it's
so,
waiting for you right there at the end of it. Yeah.
yep. And so then they have to go redeem themselves, double or nothing. So,
Okay. Okay, double or nothing, and then if they succeed, okay, good. Then they get their rewards, and they also get the extra experience points for having to grind through a whole nother dungeon. But
yeah.
if they fail here, it's the double or nothing, and they lose again. How does she react to that?
Oh,
Or they tell her no, like, they're just like, oh, we can't put ourselves through this. Like, is it going to be all right? Well, polymorph potion and fight time.
man, that's a good question. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like it's kind of redundant to turn them into sheep or goats. You'll end up with a whole petting zoo in your alchemy shop. But what would she do? Could she go with him?
If she wanted to, if
Yeah.
she didn't believe in them, I guess, to actually do it
Yeah.
themselves.
Or what if
But the
she
whole
like,
point was like, "Oh, I'm sending you on this quest
yeah,
because there's plot reasons why I'm not taking care of this myself."
true. Okay. All right. All right. Give me an option. What's a reasonable option for like rejection number 2 for side quest number 2?
Yeah, rejection number 2 sounds like a lifetime ban maybe from her shop, and
Ooh, okay.
probably like a bad reputational thing, like she's a high enough level person, she could probably talk to, like, loads of other merchants, and
Blacklisting,
she could
basically.
blacklist. Yeah, you gotta hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook.
Yeah, okay. We're blacklisting him.
Yes. So it's gonna be way harder for them to, like, get good service, or
Mhm.
they're gonna find that a lot of items are, like, ridiculously marked up, and that either drives them to the black markets or they're gonna have to do something big, like, to try and make it up to her. Or they're just gonna get sucked into this whole plot of the whole reason why she's trying to make this thing in the first place is because, oh, this wizard commissioned this potion for this reason, or
Yeah.
there's some clandestine what's-a-who's-it going on, and so now she makes them, she puts the onus on them, like, well, you've goofed up 2 times. Okay, whoever's commissioning me for this, okay, they're going to be your problem now, but you have to now tell them why they can't have their nice thing
Yeah.
because you've now messed up twice.
Okay, yeah. I'm here for that. So make him own it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've now yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna mess around and not do this." And suddenly they're having to deal with high level stakes sort of stuff where they're like, We were just adventuring. I don't know why we got pulled into all this political intrigue. It's like, it's your fault. You stepped in this. You got to
You
deal with this.
showed up, you walked through the door, so take it or leave it. Okay, I'm here for that. I like the kind of subterfuge that can come in there. So,
Yeah, many adventures seemingly started from very small things going wrong. And now it's the whole epic of like, wow, if we hadn't have messed up that Goliath Alchemist mission twice, we would never have uncovered this whole plot of the person usurping the throne.
and then they were the actual heroes, even though it was
They
a third time
stumbled
the
their
charm.
way into being the heroes.
I feel like that's a story in and of itself. We just kind of stumbled our way through here and ended up being the most unlikely of heroes.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
I like that.
yeah, and so do you think Nora Swift is pretty well figured out? There are some optional questions I have, but if you feel like you've got Nora pretty well nailed down, we can head into the next section.
Yeah, I think we've got a pretty good idea of what our girl's doing there. So,
Perfect. Well then, it's time to play some D&D and throw Nora Swift into a random encounter. This random encounter is brought to you by my sponsor, Zencastr. How do I use Zencastr? Well, that's the service that I'm using right now to be able to record my episodes of the podcast. It's what allows me to capture it all, put it into my editing machines on my new computer to get it processed and put forth onto the interwebs and podcast land for you all to enjoy. I was able to take part of this service, all thanks to my buddies Benjamin Huffman and Dane Fox McGraw over at the Dispel Magic podcast. And, if you were at this time in your life wondering what can I be doing? What sort of hobbies or things that I could be branching out to? Well, I'm here to talk to you today about Zencastr. It's so easy. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen. Knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings at the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. You can sound your best. Have you ever wondered what you might sound like? Well, Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically works to remove those filler words in your recordings, and it makes those awkward pauses in conversation dip out as well. You can set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. It's all in one, so if you've thought about podcasting before and realize that you need a lot of different tools and services these days in order to do a podcast, well, I can assure you that those days are done. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute it to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SIDEKQPodcast, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Again, go to zencastr.com/pricing, use my code SIDEKQPodcast, get that 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. Thank you so much for listening to this ad and for supporting the sponsor. It helps to support the show. And without further ado, on with the podcast. Okay, and now we're in the part of the show where we get to role play, do a vignette, a scene with the character that we've made here today. And I think Erin is going to do a fantastic job of bringing a life to Nora Swift, the Goliath Alchemist. But the question I have is, who am I going to be in the scene? Am I going to be one of my many adventurer characters that comes into her shop to get the mission? Am I another member of her Goliath tribe? Or am I the person who is, suggesting or requesting this potion? And that's what sets up the scene of discovery of like, oh, I'm missing some pages from my book, or I don't know. What sort of scene are you interested in showcasing Nora Swift in?
oh man, those are all good options. I'm leaning either towards the requester or the one of the people stumbling in that gets asked to be the side quester.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
Hmm.
you're the guest, so it's whatever you
Oh
think, and you're the writer, so yeah.
gosh. I don't know if I'm much of an actor, but okay, let's just do the people coming in that get asked to do the side quest. Let's do that.
Okay, so we have a whole list of characters that have been made on the podcast and have had various adventures. But who we've got to choose from? We have Duncan, who is the recklessly brave adventurer for hire. He's happy go lucky, no task too daring, no feat too small, sort of a guy. We have Sonia. She's the warrior woman who started off as a barbarian and then multi-classed into a paladin who serves to redeem the undead. We have Korak. He's the lawful evil arcane trickster roguish dwarf. We have Chrisley, the herbalist, botanist, wood elf druid, who then multi-classed into a cleric who serves living memory. We have Orion. He's the astral elf illusionist wizard. There is Agape. She's the lilac colored tiefling, Sorlock. Started off as a wild magic sorcerer and then made a warlock pact with an archfey named Proserpina, who she lovingly and incorrectly refers to as Prosperina. And then we have Life Spell, the necromancer, who has his whole crew of skelly boys in tow. He's a little forest gnome. And then the last one that we have is Anne Mithril Shaper, and she's like a dwarven bard lady. And she's the most greenhorn of them all because she's only been featured in one adventure and all the others have been in many. But from that whole list of characters, that's who we got. But if none of them sound interesting, we can always make up someone new, truly stumbling through the door.
Ooh, okay. So I was kind of jotting down which ones. So you said the last one is a bard. So she sings and comes up with things.
Yes, so her occupation or her character class would be bard.
Okay.
So she is a dwarf, a dwarven woman. And yeah, I think if I have to, because the last time she was featured was in episode 139, Zaxibus and the Prickly Pete's Pouring Station. And I believe I said that she was a dulcimer player. So she has like this huge
Ooh,
dulcimer thing that she has
okay.
to haul with her. If you want her to be the one to do it, or any of the other adventure characters that I listed off, would certainly be more than capable of this
Okay.
side quest mission.
So you said that she was the most green of the bunch. She hasn't been on as many adventures as the others. So let's give her a
Correct.
shot.
Ooh, okay, all right. So would you care to set the scene, or would you like for me to set the scene?
Yeah, I'll let you set the scene. You've got a little more expertise than me. So
All right, where we last left our hero, Amblin Mithril Shaper. She was fresh out of her community and beginning her adventuring life. She stumbled upon this very interesting tavern run by a wizard named Zaxibus that was called the Prickly Pete's Pouring Station, which had a mug club up on the wall, and it had a Prickly Pete who was their horse that just got to drink all the beer he ever wanted. And she stumbled into that place and she got her first mission, which I believe was she was supposed to go to a goblin ruins or hideouts far in the north to retrieve a piece of memorabilia of a fallen party member and bring it back. So obviously we haven't heard from her in little while because she's been knee deep in trying to fight all these goblins as a bard by herself. So she had to get some help and backup, but eventually she was successful and completed that mission. And she was like, boy, I'm tired of goblins. I've had it up to here. And she holds her hand up to like just about the top of her head. I've had it up to here with goblins. So I'm gonna go head out to the nearby the big city, which is where I could find the jobs. But before she gets to the big city, she stops on the smaller community on the outskirts because she's still probably got another day or two of walking before she gets to the big city. And she's checking her gear and her equipment, and she's like, "Oh man, I had a few scrapes on the road, and I'm running low on healing potions. So you know what? I better stop. Oh, that looks like a promising place. So she opens the door, cha-ching, cha-ching. And as she is now taking in this place with her eyes, what is she seeing as she looks around Nora Swift's alchemy shop?
So she's seeing the most organized alchemy shop she's ever been in. So that's the first thing that she notes, is that everything is just so, the labels are turned the right way. It is clean and organized, and the woman that is behind the counter looks scary. That she is she's a demanding presence. Nora is.
Yeah, and because Anne Boleyn, Mithril Shaper, she's a dwarven woman, so she's
She's even
probably like
taller.
4 feet. So she's having to look up at Nora Swift, who's looming behind the counter, who's like double her height.
Yes. Yeah.
So she's immediately like, she tries to like psych herself up, and then she's like, haha, put on a bright face. We're
Yeah.
happy, positive vibes.
Everything's fine.
Yes, everything's all right. Hello, 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 how are you doing? Hello.
Fine.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be like that. Okay. Yes, I healing potions. Healing potions, which you've very well laid out. I'm a little short of stature. I'm having a hard time seeing. If you could just point me in the right direction.
Well, this is obviously an alchemy shop, so they're right over there where it says healing potions.
And she's nervously chuckling and like, yes, of course. And so she'll like walk over there, and she's starting to hum a little tune, maybe something she's been composing or working on the road a little bit. She's like, oh, and then she's checking her coin purse, and she's maybe like, oh, she's like holding it up to her ear to check it like by the sound, and she's like, that doesn't sound promising. And so she's gonna like do the thing where she slowly turns to look towards the proprietor of the shop, and she's gonna maybe try and do a bit of persuasion,
Mm.
and she's gonna roll her persuasion check, and she's basically gonna try and like see if she can butter her up a little bit to maybe try to give her a discount a bit. And so she rolls her d20, and how do you think she does? Is it like good, like she succeeds, or like middle of the road, or like bad? She's not nailing it.
I think maybe she's like low to mid. Like she's not nailing it, but maybe Nora's like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna give you a discount, but instead I am gonna ask you to do this.
Oh, a job.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I could do that. And she's like very embarrassing, like, it's taking me a while to get here. I'm a little low on funds, and I am by myself. But yeah, you need a job done. I'm happy to do so. And maybe she starts pulling the big dulcimer off her back, and she's like, "Ding, ding, ding." She starts like,
Yeah. Doing
so
all
she's trying to set some ambiance music while they're negotiating and talking. And I don't know, does that annoy Nora in any bit, any shape or form?
I think it does a little bit. I think she gets a little like huffy, like the music distracts her, where she's
Mm.
like, I'm trying to focus. And maybe she's already frustrated because the pages are missing, and she's like, I don't have time for the music and stuff. So I think she's huffy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it's easy enough for Anne Boleyn to roll her insight check. She does pretty high on this, and she's like, oh, she stops playing the dulcimer and just kind of like very awkwardly puts
Yeah.
it back, and then just tries to like straighten her hair up and put her best foot forward, and is just like, yes, I'm a serious adventurer. I'm not a greenhorn at all. Yes, your job. She's like trying to puff herself up and get into her dwarven acting chops that she picked up from her community, and like she's trying to put on this air of being someone competent when she's clearly new to this.
Yeah, clearly not. And yeah, maybe she's like, oh yeah, all my travels have taken me to all these places, and I'm the best one for the job. And maybe Nora's like, well, you may not be the best one for the job, but you're kind of my only option at this point. So
Anne Boleyn deflates a little bit, but she tries to do the thing where she forces her smile to be like, that hurt me more
yeah,
than a punch from you, but I'm gonna swallow that. And she's like, nah, not a problem. What's the mission?
yeah. Well, the mission is I need you to find these long lost pages. They've been torn out of my book. I don't know who took them, but the residue on the exterior pages around them suggests that they're in this region. And I have a high paying client who needs me to find them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And then so she starts thinking and trying to put some puzzle pieces together, and this is this would be the part of the game where she continues to ask questions, get information. So, kind of like fast forwarding a little bit where it's like, okay, we're starting to get the rapport and the details. So before the scene closes out and we leave them, like what's going through Nora Swift's head as she's talking to this greenhorn bard who's basically, built for charisma. So she's trying to like use the charisma option of solving the problems and being like, who do you have problems with? Like, where are the areas that I should be looking with? Are you okay with me like doing detective work around your shop to see if there's any clues of things low to the ground that maybe your big tallness can't see because you're scraping the ceiling in here?
Yeah. So this is how Nora's responding. So I think that she's seen enough. And so she's like, you know what? I think that you're actually going to be less suspicious because you are a bard and because you are charismatic and you might be able to charm your way into places that a more obvious crew wouldn't be able to go, or they would be more suspect. So she's like, I'm taking a chance on you because I'm in dire straits, but your charisma is what's going to keep you alive. So that's what you need to use.
All right. And Anne Boleyn, maybe, she does like she'll do something nice before she genuinely like, okay, the quest starts now. Quest o'clock begins. I don't know, she'll say something nice or she'll make some sort of gesture, and maybe she has like a bit of prestidigitation where she noticed like maybe she had like some grimy hands or something like that from a sandwich or something she was eating, and she smeared it a little bit on the counter. She's like, and she does like a prestidigitation effect to clean it up. And she like looks up at Nora Swift and does like a thumbs up, like, see, I'm good. You're,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're good. And yeah, I don't know how as Anne Boleyn now begins like, okay, I've left the shop and I'm going to begin the quest and doing the search and following my HUD display and finding the clues of where the areas I'm supposed to look. When the camera's back on Nora Swift and she's back in the shop alone, what's her final thought before the scene closes out?
I think her final thought is like, she was trying to, like, when she's alone now, like that's when like the real like trepidation's actually happening, where she's like, this has to work. There's no other option. And like, I don't know if they say like prayers or like, good luck charms like spoken over them, but she's like, maybe like there's like that tender side that kind of comes out there at the very end where she's like, may like good luck follow her or whatever, like as she goes. So she's been kind of rough, but then like that tender side actually pokes out a little bit.
And scene. So we did it. We made it through the role play, and you got to play a little bit of D&D here and now. So
it was fun.
What'd you think of getting to be Nora Swift?
Man, Nora Swift, I think, is cooler than I could ever hope to be. But yeah, it was really fun. It was cool to get to like, okay, who is this person and how would they act, and limitless options. It also kind of makes you like, think like off the cuff, like, okay, what are we gonna do here? What happens? And makes you like think creatively, kind of in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, that is D&D, is that it is, it is improvisational storytelling and collaborative storytelling at that. So, like I said at the beginning, it's like it's perfect creative writing fodder for English majors and just nerds alike.
It really is. I am like duly impressed. I'm going to make my students play D&D to come up with some characters and fun adventures.
Well, you said you're a reader of academic works and things, and you may not be far off from, wanting to check out some of the writings and books and blogs and such of Dr. Emily Friedman, she's at Auburn. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's an issue or not.
No, no.
But yeah, no, she does a lot of great writing on the subject, tabletop role playing games, actual plays, and then just also does a bunch of reviews on a bunch of different kinds of tabletop role playing games. I know she has her own YouTube channel where she'll do like videos of some of these breakdowns and discussions, and she does have a fantastic episode of with me. So if you're looking for something to check out in the back catalog there a little bit, you don't have to go too far. I believe you just have to go back to, don't mind me while I check in the, yes. So you just have to go back to season 5 and episode 136, Sven, the Secret Slod, was her episode that she did with me. She gets to talk about her English professoriness and stuff, which I think would jive with you.
I think so. I think I might have found my new BFF, so I will definitely check out that episode.
Perfect. And then with this being the final thoughts, I always just want to check in with the guest and see how their time was on the podcast. If this has actually been your first time on a podcast or not, I don't actually know that fact.
So not my first time on a podcast, but definitely my first time playing D&D. So I'm officially not a super noob anymore, which is nice.
Woohoo!
Yay. And yeah, like this was such a cool experience. Like I feel like I love learning things and trying new things. And this was right up that alley of, yeah, like I've never done this before. So invite me into your world. Let me know about it. And
Yeah.
it's super cool.
And I'm sure your brother who does play D&D will be like, great, now I have someone to finally play with.
I know. Listen, and we are going to have to do the Zoom version of it. He's in California, but I think he's going to be like, yes. And I might have garnered another listener on the podcast.
Yes. And then there we go. And then I would be remiss if I didn't give the soapbox, the stage, the platform, the microphone, the what's a who's it over to you, so you can tell us, where can we find you online if you want to be found? Where can we go to find your first book? Where can we find your writings and blogs? And all the good stuff that you want to promote and share with our lovely podcast audience. And then if you've got any passions or causes that you want us to be made aware of, let us know.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, thank you so much for that. So generous. Yeah. You can find me at erinwhitford.com. So that's my website. It's got links to all my social medias, but my Instagram handle is Erin Whitford _writes. So that's my author one. Otherwise, you'll find just a bunch of pictures of my kids on my personal one. And yeah, so that's where you can find me. I'd love to connect and be friends and follow along. And especially those two places will be where I release the release date of the book. So the title's Like Light Through Water. And it's book 1 of the series. So I'm working on book 2 right now. And yeah, so that'll be kind of part of the whole world there. And we're projecting that it's going to be out either mid-year or a slightly earlier. So you can find that on Amazon, on my website, on my publisher's website, and like barnesandnobles.com and things like that.
Perfect. Well, Erin, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to have you back on making even more interesting NPCs. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sidekicks and Side Quests. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast through Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon Music, Overcast, or YouTube, or feel free to save the RSS feed to use the app or player of your choice. Visit our website, sidekicksandsidequests.com, for links, write-ups of the NPCs, and to learn more about the show and the guests who have been on it. To stay up to date and interact via social media, you can follow the podcast on Facebook, Instagram/Threads, Twitter/X, and Reddit by searching for Side KQ Podcast. You can also find our small Discord community as well online. I would love to talk D&D and showcase your fan art, stories of how you used our NPCs, discussions, and commentary. And hey, if you'd like to hail the bard and send me a message, an email, you can do so by communicating with sidekicksandsidequests@gmail.com. To help this show be the resource it's meant to be, I ask that you leave a review on iTunes, 5 stars, please, to help spread the word and share our podcast with your friends and family. Whether you're a veteran player or an aspiring dungeon master, there's something here for everyone, and I want to hear about it. As mentioned in the NPC creations section of the podcast, I do in fact have a Patreon for Sidekicks and Sidequests. If you love this podcast and what we're trying to do here, I would appreciate it if you would just go to the website, patreon.com/sidekicks and sidequests. No matter your lifestyle expenses, we have wonderful rewards at every level of Patreon membership tier. Modest, comfortable, wealthy, and aristocratic accommodations await, and we welcome all patrons to the levitating platter. Seriously, your financial support allows for this passion project to continue to invest in itself through the tools that will take our production to the next level, as well as provide more content for our patrons and the community at large. Please consider supporting me on Patreon if you can.
Sidekicks and Sidequests is unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy.
Meaning I'm not approved or endorsed by Wizards.
Portions of the materials used are property of Wizards of the Coast.
Copyright Wizards of the Coast,
LLC.
Thank you for your support, and I'll see you at the pub next time.
Bar to rock on 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sidekicks and Sidequests.